Hello ladies and gentlemen, it's Mike here at Game From Scratch, and today we are going hands-on with MetaHuman Creator. Yesterday, Epic Games released this in early access. I told you as soon as I have access to it, I will take you hands-on, and hey, that's what we're going to do today. And spoiler alert, it is pretty awesome. Now, of course, it has also got some limitation. This is an early access, and you should set your expectations accordingly, but it is impressive for sure, especially when it comes to creating faces. So what we see in front of us, this here is MetaHuman Creator. Now, one of the first things you should probably need to know about this here is a browser application. It's basically streaming everything. Here you can see it is running. In my case, I'm using Opera GX. They say they require Chrome, but almost every browser out there is Chromium based right now, so you should be fine regardless. Another thing you should notice right here is it's giving me this warning at the bottom that it is only displaying LODs 0 and 1. For certain things, using grooms for hair effects and facial hair effects and so on, certain ones, and we'll notice them when we get to them, can only show highest levels of detail. So if you want to do a more detailed model, you're going to have to stick to certain options, but sorry, not a more detail, technically a less detail. If you want multiple LODs, that is the issue. Another problem that we've got at the end here is getting your results out. Here is Quixel Bridge. I am trying to export out this fellow that I created earlier on, and I've been generating for a while now. So I'm not going to be able to show you the end results in Unreal Engine today because I think their servers might be struggling a little bit to get like the workloads done because everything here runs on their end. But what we're going to do now is create a character somewhat like this fine fellow I created earlier on. In order to do so, what we do is head on over here to the My MetaHumans. We're going back to the very beginning here. All of this stuff can take a little bit of time. In this case, we're good to go. So you can see here, I've created these two fellows right there. I'm going to create a new one for you guys right now. Just go here to create MetaHumans. And the way this works is you start from a template. Now, I told you earlier on that anything that has this warning right now are limited. A lot of times it's the hair or the beards or whatever that are causing problems. Anything with that marker, you're going to run into problems if you want to have multiple LODs. I'm going to ignore that for today because I don't really care, but that's one of those things they are working on. So if you want to have it so that you can use this in like an Android game with low resolution or whatever, like a low polygon LOD version, you're going to want to stay away from those ones for now. Now, again, you can see here, currently in development, so that's something that is going to improve over time. All right, so now what we got to do is pick our base character. For this particular case, let's go with Brian here. But it's just like basically a starting point. One of the things I found so far with MetaHuman Creator is it's really hard to create monsters. So when you're in something like the Fallout 4 character creator, you could create some interesting choices. In this particular case with MetaHuman Creator, you know what? It limits you to like the real world limitations. So when you're doing skin colors, you can't create a purple character. When you're morphing or changing the size of things, you can't create, monstrosities out of it. Everything is kind of limited to human ideals. I have found one bug, by the way, if you're at Epic Games, there's no ability to remove makeup. It's one of those things that you should probably be aware of. All right, so here you can see middle mouse button. I can orbit it around. By default, we're animating like so. We are now in preview mode. And what you can do now is either move, sculpt, or blend. So I'm going to just basically stop the animations right now. We can also switch using 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6 between different areas. So head, body, torso, legs, feet, and far. Now what you're going to find is that the majority of the functionality that's available right now in MetaHuman Creator is around the face. You've got very little control over the body. And the options for clothing are anemic. We're talking like 3 or 4 items per body part. So this is mostly about the head. But truth of the matter is, where you kind of make or break a human these days is in the head. So I can understand why they focus there. And I think over time we're going to see, obviously, more additions there. This is an early access preview. Okay, so here we are with the character. The first way we can start doing things, well, here, I'll show you the two simplest ways. We can do moves. And here you're just using control area surfaces. And you can move things around. And you can literally sculpt characters that way. Very simple stuff. But it also is conforming to like the laws of nature. So as you move the nose up, it's displacing the skin behind it. And it's really, again, hard to create monstrously bad characters. I've tried it. You really can't. Even if you want to make the ears like super bad, you can't. That's about as bad as you can make an ear. So that's about it for the extent of from blending and so on. I don't know why that didn't take. All right, why are you not moving here? All right, I may have broke the ears. All right, anyways, so you can move things. You can also sculpt things, which you've got a number of control points. You can basically kind of go in and move individual. So if we want to pull his cheekbones out a bit or in, you can control individual points on the character. And again, all of the results that you're going to get from this are reasonably realistic. It does look like I broke the ears, though. That's interesting. So it does look like you can break the rigging behind this to a certain degree. But another thing that you can do here that's really cool is we can go back to that original thing. And remember how we could choose a character to work from? Well, we can grab a couple other ones. So let's grab him. We'll grab her. So we want to add some femininity to this guy's features, and him. All right, so we've got now 3 characters in here, and we are in blend mode. Now you can see we have a number of different control points here. So let's say we wanted to have the chin go. Well, now what we do is go towards the direction of the person we want it to be more similar to, and you do a blend shape of that person. That's pretty neat. We can actually keep adding more. So now when I do it, I'm going to have 4 control points that I can travel towards, and we can blend between those things. So if I want to change the eyes, we can blend the eyes between the 4 different options we've got. And this allows you to kind of, especially, I don't know if I can build it in my own character. I can't. That's unfortunate too. Right now, it doesn't look like my own custom creations are available as part of blend targets. Hopefully that gets added in the future, because then you could just start kind of deriving from your own person. But anyways, that is the 3 different modes to work with this guy. You've got the blend, where you're moving between up to, you just keep adding options in here, and then you'll get more and more blend point choices between. So each circle on that blend target represents the blendiness towards that person. So if I want to move halfway towards this person and this person, I go here. And if I want to move more towards him, I go up. More towards her, I go down. So using that combination of things, you can do some pretty impressive stuff. So we go here now, skin color. Again, they've changed it so that you basically only have, that's about as not, and I think that's more lighting than, like, that bluish tint seems to be more about lighting than anything else. But they kind of have limited you to real world possible values here. So you can switch between a number of different skin types there. You got control over the roughness of the skin. It's pretty subtle. Then we can add some freckles in and control over the density, the saturation, and so on. Skin accents such as redness, saturation, and lightness available right there. There, and there. So that's the skin, and then we get into the eyes. You've got a number of presets you can work from. Well, we got 12 eye sets here. It's basically, it's pretty subtle, but if you actually come in and look at the eyes are highly detailed. But I think if I can go back to preview, can I keep switching eyes? Yeah. So here you can see the various different eye presets, or you can control at the iris, or what is that, sclera? So you got control over the direct iris itself, and you can switch out the size of it, like so. Limbus, you can change the darkness of the limbus, which is the outer ring there. You got a decent amount of control over it, and you can also do left and right eye. So if you want to have different eyes, you can do so. We got control over here as well. This is the veining in the white area around the outside. So let's rotate our veins. So there you can see. So you got really fine-tuned control over the eyes. The eyes are often where the uncanny valley is slammed into. So that's a nice option right there. Then we get into teeth. That's kind of horror time, because he opens his mouth up to do so. We can open up all the way. The only thing I'm really seeing missing from teeth is the ability to define cavities, which is weird because they give this ability to define the plaque amount, but nothing here for cavities. Also, we've got control over the variation in teeth, which is basically kind of a randomizer. Nothing for cavities, which I found a little bit shocking. And you also have control over them here, visually, this way as well. And let's close this guy's mouth, because, yeah, that's a little terrifying. Hey, he's happy. All right, then we can come into makeup. I'm not going to play with makeup because it's really easy to mess things up. And like I said, once you've put it on, there is no way to remove it. So if I add, so let's do dramatic smudge. So once I've added that in, I have no option to say, okay, I don't want makeup at all. And transparency is the closest I can get, is I can make it transparent. I can go back to like a thin eyeliner, make it fully transparent, and basically get rid of the makeup, but there's no ability to say no makeup. So by the way, if you're at Epic Games, you want some feedback for the lipstick and for the eyeshadow stuff, there's no options here. Also, interestingly enough, there is no ability to define the makeup for the eyebrows, which is strange. Speaking of eyebrows, we'll move on to that next. You do have the ability to control them, like so. So we can set the color of the eyebrows here, but if I wanted to have, say, blue eyebrows or something to that effect, can't do it. I can create normal skin-colored ones, and I can make them, salt and peppered gray or whatever. I can change the roughness of them, but there is no current ability to color your eyebrows, which is going to really limit a lot of, especially female models. Like it's pretty common for, blue dyed eyebrows or whatever, something like that. And really, this is one of those areas where your predefined settings are limiting people from being able to actually recreate certain characters. Seems like an easy thing to fix later on, though. In terms of head, we can do the hair thing, so we can go from having a long afro, like so. Come on. There we go, instantly. And the cool thing is, if you press play and animate any of these things, there's full animation. There's effects on the hair. You'll see the hair actually moves around as the head moves around, which is kind of impressive. Now, again, everything marked with one of these. So let's give him like a receding, messy hairline instead. Everything that's got this marking on it is going to be LOD limited. So you do have a lot of control over preset hairstyles. Well, there's actually not a ton of hairstyles now that I think about it. And there's not actually a ton of control over the overall length of the hairstyle. So I imagine this is one of those areas that is going to change in time in that regard as well. We can come here and give him like a more conventional. Actually, I think that might have been where we started from. Or we can give him a faux hawk. Yeah, let's go with the faux hawk. All right, we're good to go. So you got the hair there. You can change again the salt and pepperiness of the hair, and you can change the color of the hair. But again, there's no values here for actual hair dye, which is interesting. I imagine that's going to change in time. We've got control over the eyelashes, pretty straightforward. We got control over the beard, so we can give him like a long goatee or medium curly. Not an absolute ton of control here, but there is some flexibility there. And then you've also got control over the color here. Once again, no dyeing. And it's interesting that it starts off as color, as custom. It's the only time it did that. And we also give him, so this is the bottom half. We can give him the top half to go with it. We can give kind of like so. And then you got control over the body. Now the body is where, again, it really sort of falls apart. So I'm gonna hit the 2 key and we're gonna zoom out and take a look at the body. In this case, all you really have is 3 types of bodies, and then 6 categories, 3 female, 3 male. So we can go short and skinny, actually, short and average, short and large, and then short and skinny. Okay, that just, his head proportion that's about as close to freakish as you can get. But let's go back to average and average. And that's about the extent of your control over the body type. That part is definitely a little bit on the disappointing side. And then we go over here. You got control over the tops. So realistically, you've got 3 settings. So you can click the initial one, the hoodie, and basically get rid of that clothing completely. I'm not going to do that on the pants, or I'm going to get demonetized. But you have a choice between a hoodie, a sweater, or a button-down shirt. And then for each one of these, you got control over primary and secondary color. So let's go make him into Freddy Krueger, like so. That's it. So we definitely need more clothing added. It's the same deal when it comes to pants. So right now he's got skinny jeans. I can turn them into normal jeans or cargo pants. Let's give him the Gap 1990s look. All right, there we go. So we're coming into the Gap. And then finally for shoes, we got boots, we got casual sneaks, we have flats, and we have flip-flops. And really, that is the extent of it. And by the way, there is a camera for each one of these things, so if you actually zoom in and want to take a look, it is pretty amazing the level of detail on these characters for sure. But the clothing types are definitely on the limited side. And now one you're going to notice is as I'm actually working on all of this, it's saving it on the fly on their servers. So in theory, I should be able to head over to the server and grab it at any time on Bridge. We've also got control over the environment that we're in. So there's a studio setting. It's basically the HDRI map that's lighting the character. Indoor, outdoor, and silhouette. So you can light your character under different settings. It's more pronounced when you're looking at the face and the skin. So let's go back here to studio environment. So you can see it's being direct lit by lights and so on. You got options to switch between LODs, but I think my hair is going to cause problems here. So yeah, so you see I lost my hair, but see my face, we definitely lost a lot of detail, but we went down to LOD level 6. So let's go to 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and then finally 0. So you're noticing as you're moving between, this is the limitation. So LOD 1 and LOD 0 are the only options you've got where you're going to keep your hair if you have that warning on there, the groom stuff going on. And then your lowest LODs, this is for like furthest away. Well, if it had hair, actually that's pretty monstrous. But it'd be one of those things where as you're moving further and further away from the camera, you'd probably be able to get away with something like LOD 4 on a mobile, maybe even like on a newer mobile 3 or 2. Like so, and that looks solid. That looks fine. The polygon count is probably more realistic. I don't know if there's actually the ability to get the polygon count up. I can see my frame rate, ETI2 frames received. No, I don't see any ability to see what the actual polygon count is. You can turn the hair on and off and so on, but no polygon count. Now that's another interesting thing, and hopefully they add that in time because it's going to be useful to know where you're at for the various different things. But there are multiple LOD versions available, and if you stayed with the hair that is compatible, you wouldn't lose it when you drop to LOD 2 or below. You'd still get your hair polygon model. And I'm imagining over time that is all going to be fixed. And realistically, that is it. We've created our character. Now the final thing to do is name it. This guy looks like, I don't know, we'll call him Reno. This is Reno. So I just created Reno. So now if I go back to my MetaHumans, we're going to basically loop back to the character. So all of that is saved server side. There's no saving done on your end. So now you can see we have Etor, Tom, and Reno all here. Again, LOD limited. Every single one of them is LOD limited. And then once we're happy with that, what we can do is generally head on over to Quixel Bridge. And now you can see he is still there. But the other thing you're going to notice going on right now is I am still generating this guy. So what you need to do is pull it down into Bridge, and then once it is downloaded, you can export it out to Unreal Engine. It just seems like this part currently isn't working. I'm depending on their server to make it work, and I don't know what's going on. At the same time, I can also come back to any person I'm currently working on and click up Start MetaHuman Creator, and this will open it up on my browser. We also have the ability to, no, I think that's about it. So the downside here is if I wanted to go ahead and get a copy of Reno here, so we come down here and we say Reno, and then you pick the resolutions you want. So let's say I want this guy in 8K. I go ahead and download, and then I get stuck in this generating hell. So this is never ending for me right now. So I can't show you my creations, my glorious creations here in Unreal Engine right now because they're not being created. But if you do want to check some of those out, as we saw yesterday, there are these 50 presets. And what you can do is grab any one of them. I grabbed Etor already, for example, and you can download it like so. These guys are only available in full 8K, which, by the way, turned into like, I think it was available. No, it's over here. No, it's right there. There we go. Let's go to files. Etor fellow right here is big, 2 gigabytes worth of stuff. But you want to go ahead and check that guy out. Once you're ready, you just do an export. It exports it out to Unreal Engine, and I have, you have to have Unreal Engine be running before you do an export. I guess that does make sense. I'm not going to bother showing you that. I actually did hands-on with the sample characters. This girl right here, and what was the other one they did? They released 2 early. But I loaded those up in Unreal Engine earlier on. You can see they're fully rigged, ready to go. They're really detailed characters. But in terms of creating your own, the whole My MetaHumans, as you can see here, they are all available in Bridge. You should be able to download them and then export them out. But the downside here is it's still in generating phase. So early access, you're going to expect that kind of stuff. Hopefully that is resolved quickly. You know what? Whenever you launch a new product like this server-side early access, you're going to expect some issues, and that's definitely one. But I got to say, for the most part, my experience has been it's shockingly good. There's definitely some limitations of what they can do here. They need to add some makeup options for sure. The clothing needs to be quite a bit expanded. So we need more clothing options for sure. You need the ability to set colors for eyebrows, remove makeup. You need to have the same sculpting ability. So all of the stuff that we can do up here for modding our character, this stuff, this move and sculpt stuff, we need to be able to do that here too. I'm actually kind of shocked that that's not there, but Move and Sculpt and Blend only currently work on the face. So your control over the body as it stands right now is really quite limited. But the characters you could create from this thing, they're really impressive, and it would be interesting to get these things exported out. Apparently also behind the scenes, it's using Maya's format, so you're kind of, it's not universal like FBX, unfortunately. So I don't see you being able to bring these things into Blender anytime soon, but hopefully that is another feature that is going to be added in the future. But anyways, that is hands-on with MetaHuman's Creator. It's pretty impressive. There's definitely some growing pains there. Hopefully this gets fixed so we can actually use our creations soon. And I don't know if it's just occurring to me. I know some people are having trouble logging in and so on. It's early. Give them some time. It's Epic Games. They obviously always get this stuff working in the end. And the base that they've got going here, this character generator, it's just, the results are pretty amazing, I've got to say. So let me know what you think about MetaHuman Creator, and I will talk to you all later. Goodbye.